We are back with Jessica Rionero. How'd I do?
Great. I love
I,
it.
I
I
have a
love it.
name phobia, I think, a little bit.
Wait, how
Right,
do you say your last name? I didn't even
I
ask.
know, right. Rubchinsky.
Rubchinsky.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well done. Um,
Awesome.
Writer director Terry Fitz, SAG eligible, a very cute, poignant short film about the acting world, certainly a part of the acting world. Do you want to share anything about yourself or the film before we start and jump into the questions?
It's funny to me because it is a movie about the acting world, but like Terry's not your typical actor. So sometimes when I talk about it, people are like, "Oh, great, another guy in LA trying to be a Hollywood actor." And I'm like, this is not that. And he's definitely in a league of his own. Yeah, the project stemmed from actually a feature, and Terry was a character in that feature that people really resonated with. And like anytime we did a table read, the actor Taylor would get so many laughs, and we're like, we just need to shoot something with Terry. Everyone's saying just like grab a camera and do it. So we got a few friends together and made this little project that could. And I actually, I directed like over several years ago, even though it's still, there's nothing about it that feels 7 years ago. It's very timeless, but it's just the project that just keeps on going. Just kind of like Terry himself, who just keeps on going even when maybe he shouldn't. And yeah, and
Yeah.
then I deeply relate about that because I live in LA and I work in the entertainment industry, and it is just rough all around.
You
So
know,
yeah.
I would agree with you, and I'm glad you pointed out that Terry's character is not necessarily illustrative of all the film of all the actors. I mean, most actors really are highly professional. They, have day jobs. They are making ends meet. They are, doing everything they can to advance their careers as they're waiting tables or, working in the corporate world or whatever, and have families. So it's very, most of the actors out there are highly respectable, highly professional people. Terry is not one of those characters. And essentially, I found his character in the storyline to be okay, here's a struggling actor, but he's struggling because he's a alcoholic, he can't pay his bills, his car's about to break down, and he's not really living in the realm of reality. I mean,
Yeah.
he's trying in some capacity. He's doing the green drinks, he's got a guru in the park who, saged him, but it's not really it's kind of a surface practice.
Yeah.
And so the theme, the storyline is really kind of like this guy who's self-delusional. He's got this dream and he sort of seems to be pursuing the easy way out to success. And that quick path to success hasn't worked out. Is that how you would describe it?
Yes, I love that you say the delusional part because it reminds me of this TikTok. I don't know if you watch it, but there was this like TikTok trend where this woman was saying be delusional and your dreams will come true. And I was like, oh my gosh, if Terry was watching TikTok, he would be like, yeah, like I should be delusional. Like he would take it to the next level. Um, I think I think he's someone who's very earnest, and I don't know if he necessarily is aware if it's the easy way out. I think he just came here with no roadmap and no support, and like many people, and is everyone's like, hey, do it by any means necessary. If you don't have a place to sleep tonight, if your car's not working, you still got to go to this audition. Oh wait, there's not even an audition, you still need to make it work. And I think the ultimate thing is that he's just I guess like staying true to himself, and the not giving up. And we always say he's the testament to the human resilience of just when things keep on going wrong, you just got to keep on going. So I don't, and I think also like we based him from someone from the South in America, and like Alabama, Georgia, and someone who probably grew up on like 80s action films and was like, I'm gonna go to Hollywood, I'm gonna be Patrick Swayze, I'm gonna be Val Kilmer, I'm gonna be like Dolph Lundgren. And I guess we just wanted to show a little bit of the reality of what would happen if you brought someone here and dropped him in that world. Because me and like Taylor and like our producer Tom, we all lived in East Hollywood, and I don't know if you're familiar with LA at all. Like it's just there's so much contrast, which I love. I think that's amazing. Like I think coming from the East Coast, you just imagine it to be like Beverly Hills, like glitz and glamour, and like the real LA is just like a little more grittier and interesting and has this like underbelly. And we kind of wanted to show that, and in the film itself, like LA is its own character. So yeah, I would just say like he's just someone who's really earnest, and we wanted to show the reality of that, and he's just operating by any means necessary to get what he thinks he deserves.
Got it.
Yeah.
So where did this, so you talked a little bit about it, but where did the heart of the inspiration come to you in terms of, you know, writing this and then directing it, that germinal seed of his character? Where does that live in you, and how do you, you know, resonate with it to turn it
Um
into what it is?
yeah, as I mentioned a little bit, I wrote a feature years ago, and with my writing partner, Tom, who's also a producing partner on this. And it's a great project. We love it, but it was just really a higher budget than we needed. It was going to be like low rent heist at like a slummy casino type movie. And then Terry was a side character. Taylor, you know, the actor helped develop that character and that role. He's just naturally funny. We joke that we met the real Terry Fitz in Venice once, who was like stuck in 1985 Daytona, Florida, and he met us, and we just talked to him for like 10 minutes, and we're like, oh my gosh, this guy is like a character. And we didn't know his name, but we're like, his name would be Terry Fitz. And then Taylor and I just kept on like riffing of like who this character would be. Oh, also, when doing the feature, we did a lot of auditions here in LA, and we would do them down at USC, and you got to meet a lot of like the real LA actors coming in, auditioning, some eccentric characters. So a little bit of that went into it. Like this was based off of like many people.
Yeah.
And then just a little bit of like Taylor himself is from the South, and but he's not an actor, he's actually a musician, and he actually works in like home reno shows. So he's just like a natural who related to the character, and we're like, we would love to see a day in a life of this guy. And we were able to film like over a weekend, and we had a script, but we kind of wanted to like see a lot of things happened off script. Like the car we knew was breaking down. It was Taylor's car. That's what also pushed us to make the short, because we knew the car was gonna be
Right.
like done. And we're like, well, it's funny because like I have a lot of anxiety about making projects, because obviously a lot of people who create are perfectionists, and we're like, oh, it's never the right time, and when are we going to get the right crew, and how are we going to do it? And because the car had such a short amount of like life expectancy, we knew we had to get it done. And but we didn't realize it was going to break down on camera, which it really did. It
Oh,
really did break
perfect.
down on camera. And I mean, it was a little horrifying, because we're trying to film on like streets in LA, traffic's already crazy, and we're doing it like, you know, run and gun guerrilla style, and that's happening. So it looks great now, but during the time we were just a little like, whoa, what's I don't know. So yeah, it kind of just came from that, and like comedy is my background. I also really love what I love about the story, and when we were writing it, anytime we were like even looking for any improv, like to improv anything, we just wanted to like make sure he was coming from like an earnest place. And like for example, he goes to see his ex-girlfriend, and initially when we were writing it, it's like he's almost like a little bit of a player. He like dumped her. He's like, oh, I'm not like, I'm an actor, I don't need anybody. But then we're like, wait, wouldn't it be sweeter if Terry actually wants to be with her and she's dumping him? And then like so like we would just always invert the situation from our like first thought, and it would just make a really good like, scenario on camera just to see him like, and
So
I'm just like rethinking about some of the stuff. Yeah.
you're just what about some of the
I was
stuff?
just rethinking
Reminded?
about some of the
Yeah.
stuff he would say, and it was ridiculous.
So it sort of sounds like, because whenever I talk to filmmakers and artists, that I really kind of consider filmmakers artists first and then filmmakers second. And there's always there's some emotional connection with you and the art. And so in this case, it sounds like, and there's always this confluence of things that inspire the making of the art, like, the feature and the people that you met and things like that. But there's always that place inside of us that thing really lives. And it sounds like, hearing your talk, that this character was organically developed as a foil for all of us, in the sense of like the person who earnestly pursues something and just can't get it right, and the frustration that it's felt by us when things don't go our way and we don't get what we want. And so here's this character that we can sympathize with and say, hey, he's trying to be a nice guy, but he just can't get his stuff together.
Yeah. And what's really cool too about this project was that a lot of, again, like I mentioned, the car was real. A lot of the actors were just real, like people we knew who would be good for the role. But like Alex, who plays Terry's landlord in it, was our real landlord years ago.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
I was scared because our producer Tom was like, oh, let's get Alex. Like he's great on camera, but I'm like, I don't know if he can like act. And then there's just so many dynamics of like, this feels a little too real. And then, but it all worked out for like the vibe we were going for, and all those places we filmed were places we would go. And so it just felt like really authentic to us and our experience of like when we first came to LA. And like, so there was a lot of like reality to
cool.
to making it. Yeah.
That's cool. Now, having 7 years of reflecting upon the movie, and reflection after making it, what do you think the message of the film is?
Oh God.
We get deep here. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I feel like the message is, whether I like it or not, like it's never over. Like, not in a negative way, but like even in the movie, he just isn't giving up. And I think with this project, every time I kind of forget about it or take a break from like what it can be next, or like what does it mean, it just like reaches someone else, and then it just brings back like a smile on my face. And I was like, oh, okay, like this isn't something that's just over. And I feel like that's something for like Terry as well. Like, as he doesn't realize his career's over, and as he doesn't realize like he should give up, I just think it's just one of those projects that kind of reminds you to keep going, even if you think you shouldn't. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely like I weird, oddly enough, I feel like I'm like Terry. Even though I'm not Southern or like drink or like smoke like that. So yeah, I just feel like I really relate to that message of resilience.
Yeah. Keep going in the face of adversity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a message for all of us living. I mean, suffering happens and we just persevere.
Have you seen a Groundhog's Day?
Yeah, like the Bill Murray film.
Yeah. It's like one of my favorite. And Groundhog's Day just passed. It was the 30th anniversary. But like, as talking with you, I was like, oh my gosh, like Terry kind of reminds me of like a Groundhog's Day. Obviously the opposite. Like, usually Bill Murray in that, like, he strived to like have a better day. But I feel like this is just like on repeat. Like Terry's still doing this. Like he's still like just every day is kind of like this.
Yeah.
in Hollywood. So yeah.
Well, it would be interesting if you ever did pick this, script back up and do something with the character. It would be interesting to see, well, what happens when they hit their end point and how do they change?
Yeah, I love that. I have been working on developing it as a series and like a web series or an animated series or even like just like just more episodes, and that's been something just like trying to see where he goes. And then I did have an idea of just like thinking of making like a feature. And yeah, I think like that's what we would all want to see, like what is his breaking point, and because he hits like rock bottom in this, so like we want to see like what is his real rock bottom and where does he go from there. And I think
Yeah,
that's something really interesting, like I would want to see as well.
cool. Jessica, last question for Play It Forward. How have you been changed as a person since making the movie?
Oh my gosh, sorry, I had to laugh. I'm just like, this is so serious and deep and I wasn't prepared. Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. This all, it's just honest. Whatever it is. You don't have to prepare.
How have I changed? I think I don't take things as seriously. Um, and that, like, I went to film school. I used to live in New York and now live in LA, and they're very like tough towns. And um I think everything else in my life, I'm not a perfectionist, like clearly, like bookcase, but like when it comes
It's
to like
fine. I don't know. I thought it was like one of those background images. That's the real thing.
that's the real thing.
Bookcase
Um
is great. Keep
but
on.
but I was gonna say, like, I usually in my life I'm not a perfectionist, but I feel like when it comes to like making projects, I could live in that world. And especially when it comes to writing, and there's just definitely moments of like overthinking and putting things off and just like waiting for the right time. And I think making this project, because there was just so many amazing kismet moments, like the car saying like, this is the weekend I'm going to break down and this is all that's happening. It's just like you got to kind of like roll with it and not be as serious and let things go. Still working on that. And then like, and there were so many just shots and takes though in that project where we said, should we do one more? I don't know. Well, we have time. Let's do it. Let's see. And great stuff came out of it. So I think, yeah, like just easy up, having a little bit more fun, and when you're filming too. Because again, like a lot of filming out here in LA can be a literal job. So remembering like not to take these things too seriously, and it's movie magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Jessica Rionero, nominated by Eric Toms. The
Oh,
film is Terry Fitz, SAG eligible, and it was a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining me.
okay. Thank you.
All right. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Bye.
Bye.